How many of you have been to the beach? How many of you have gone swimming in the ocean? How many of you have been to the beach vacation? Now, how many of you have been brave enough to wear a pair of goggles in the ocean to see what's underneath? I think there can be a consensus that some of us may not want to look to avoid knowing what's underneath. Sadly, looking away is no longer an option. The plastic problem is well known globally, yet many may not realize the effects it has on climate change, our own health, as well as the marine mammal populations. Many may not know about the 5 gyres that circle our oceans, or even what a gyre means. A gyre is a large garbage patch wound together in the middle of the ocean. There are an estimated 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic waste in the ocean. And of that, 269,000 tons float compared to the 4 billion microfibers of plastic that live below the surface. Of that, 70% will end up inhabiting in the ocean's ecosystem. So to break this down, the remaining 30%, 15% of which will float and 15% will land on our beaches. Plastic pollution ranges from water bottles to ghost nets and can be attributed to the detrimental population losses for fish and other marine species. According to Sandra Laville of The Guardian, annually it is found that 640 tons of nets, lines, and traps of commercial fishing are dumped into the ocean. The effects of this waste can be seen in the gyres, of which 86% of the northern Pacific patch contains old megaplastics from fishing nets. So why should we care? Why does any of this matter? Well, to set aside the moral argument that we are polluting the oceans and affecting other marine species, food sources, and well-being, plastic pollution is a climate and human health issue. Plastic begins as fossil fuels. In order to make it, plastic goes through an extensive process that pollutes and requires a ton of fossil fuels. According to an article from Yale Climate Connections written by Brooke Bowman in April 2021, if plastic consumption continues then, by 2050, 20% of oil consumption will come from plastics. The climate change problem is brought on by plastic. Many fisheries use nets made of nylon, which is a type of plastic that does not decompose ever. In the end, any fishing net left in the ocean will stay put for many hundreds of years. Now, one of my favorite meals is sushi. My family grew up having sushi, but after my research into this issue, I have found some really unsettling facts about the industry itself. Fishing worldwide is occurring at an unsustainable rate, and many of the major sushi fish populations have had population losses in the recent years of well over 80%. A study by Conservation stated in February 2021 that an estimated 33% of fish caught contain microplastic. Microplastic is extremely harmful for our own bodies. Consuming microplastics can cause an increased chance of cancer or disrupt your metabolism. This issue is occurring at an exponential rate each year. According to an article by The Guardian, it is found that the average person will eat or breathe 50,000 or more microplastics particles annually. A way to slow this down is to remove the amount of fish you consume. The fish you consume not only contains microplastics, but it causes more and more nets to be dropped in the ocean. This in turn strangles well over 500,000 animals a year, along with adding to the trillions of waste in our oceans. Although it may be hard to remove fish, it is vital to our own overall well-being and long-term status. It will also help the fish populations on the brink of extinction recover. In addition, emphasizing buying glass rather than plastic, although glass is more costly than plastic, because it costs more to make, in the end it can actually be recycled. A common myth is that many of the plastic bottles we consume are recycled. In reality, only 9% make it to a recycling facility. It is a sad reality that many of the recycled cans and bottles never actually are recycled, but a way to combat this problem is by investing in glass alternatives. If we don't want to change for ourselves, change for the next generation. As Sylvia Earle, a marine biologist, so nicely put it is the worst of times, but it is the best of times because we still have a chance.